Hey everybody, it's Miss Hampson for highlights from chapter 27 of Huck Finn. I'm just going to focus on one chapter for each of the next few screencastifys since I've been making them a little too long. So in chapter 27, after Huck has decided to hide the money from the Duke and the King in order to eventually give this $6,000 back to the Wilkes girls, we know that Huck panics, puts it in the coffin when no one's looking, and now they have sealed the coffin with the money in it. Huck is the only one that knows this. And the Duke and the King, since they don't know where the money is, they are going to start liquidating other assets that the Wilkes family has, including the home. They're going to try to sell the home, the slaves, everything. In chapter 27, Huck has another moment where he sees African Americans as people with emotions, who are being treated cruelly. And this is important that he sees this cruelty, and he feels emotion. He feels very upset at what happens to this family, this African American family. So in chapter 27, it is a few paragraphs down. There's the Undertaker. It's kind of another moment of comic relief that Twain puts in. Okay, so the paragraph starts off. So the next day after the funeral, along about noontime, the girls' joy got the first jolts. A couple of end traders come along, and the king sold them the ends reasonable for 3-day drafts, as they call it, and away they went, the two sons up the river to Memphis, and their mother down the river to Orleans. That's a big deal. We know that being sold down to New Orleans was essentially a death sentence for a slave. I thought them poor girls and them ends would break their hearts for grief. They cried around each other and took on so it most made me down sick to see it. This is really important. Huck sees the Wilkes girls crying with the slaves that are being separated, the families that are being separated and sold, and Huck is sickened by this. That's so important. He's seeing this injustice against these people that are being treated like animals, African Americans being treated like animals. The Wilkes girls said they hadn't ever dreamed of seeing the family separated or sold away from the town. I can't ever get it out of my memory, the sight of them poor miserable girls, the Wilkes girls, and the ends hanging around each other's necks and crying. And I reckon I couldn't have stood it at all. Like I couldn't stand it, but would have had to bust out and tell on our gang if I hadn't knowed the sale weren't no account, meaning the slaves would be eventually returned to the Wilkes family because it was a fraudulent sale. The Duke and the King have no right to sell them. So this is a very important paragraph. I'm hoping that some of you wrote about this for your reading log. Huck sees these slaves being separated from the Wilkes girls and being separated from their mother. He sees this as a criminal act. He is sickened by it. And this is important. This is Twain getting the reader to discover this as well. And of course, today we would feel this emotion, but in Twain's time, not every white person necessarily would feel the way the Wilkes girls are feeling now, or Huck feels. So it's important, again, to humanize these slaves and this cruelty against them. So, all right. I am going to end chapter 27 now in an effort to make this shorter, and I'll come back with some other screencastifies for some later chapters. Hope you guys are having a great night. This is Miss Hampson, and I'll see you next time. Bye.